France 24 debate. It's the most burning social issue to hit France since the left swept to power last year. 2 weeks ago, Paris bore witness to its biggest mass demonstration in several years, and this was against same-sex marriage. So this past Sunday, it was counter-demonstration time in favor of what the French call marriage for all. And even though turnout was smaller, surveys show public opinion is on the side of these folks and the socialist-led government. The bill, formally introduced in Parliament this Tuesday, it would not only legalize gay weddings, it would also approve adoptions by same-sex couples. Now, that might be the bigger sticking point. The French lukewarm on gay adoption, even though many children have already been raised knowing all about it. What would the law change? And how does the rest of the planet stand on the issue? Today in the France 24 debate, we're looking at adoption for all. And with us to talk about it, Xavier Hérault of YAG.com. Tell us what YAG.com is.
YAG.com is a media for gays and lesbians, media and social network. So we have news, and we have also a social network like Facebook, and people can create their profiles, their blogs, and discuss and talk and etc.
All right. Also with us, Jean Duchesne, special advisor to the Archbishop of Paris, to the Cardinal, we should say, right? To the Archdiocese.
You can say either, and you need not say both at the same time.
Okay. All right. Nigerian activist Joseph Okoro is the former director of the Initiative for Equal Rights in Nigeria. Thank you for being with us. And U.S. Attorney Tony Kennebrew, welcome back to the France 24 debate, sir. The France 24 debate, where you can always join the conversation on Facebook and on Twitter, our hashtag F24debate. Now, let's begin with, as we were mentioning at the top, one of the latest polls. It was completed January the 13th. It shows the number of French citizens in favor of same-sex marriage rising from 60 to 63%, but less than half of participants favor same-sex adoptions. Now, for one of the bill's sponsors, French socialist MP Corinne Narassiguin, the only way to dissociate gay marriage from same-sex adoption would be, well, to explicitly issue a ban.
In French law, as soon as you're a married couple, you're able to adopt. So we would have to create a new discrimination in French law by barring adoption from gay married couples, which is not what we want to do. We want to move towards equality, and we want also to say that homosexual people can be parents just as heterosexual people. And they already have children. You can adopt as a single person, so homosexuals can already adopt as single parents. We want the other person in their life, who most of the time are the second parent to those child, to be able to adopt as well.
Xavier Hérault, she says in the parliamentarian there are already a lot of people in that situation. Do we roughly know how many?
Well, not really, because you can't ask that. But we talk about between 40,000 to 300,000. So that's pretty vague. But obviously, there are lots of children being raised by homosexual parents.
Jean Duchesne, do you take on board what the MP said there, that the rights of both the people raising the child should be protected?
Well, the problem is that the child needs, any child needs a family. And as far as we know, the child needs a father and a mother, and the father and the mother are two different persons and have different roles. This is why we say that, on average, the safer bet is to say that a kid will be better brought up and will become better able to fulfill himself or herself if he has a father and a mother.
Your reaction to that, Joseph Okoro?
I would say that for me, it's pretty. No, we do not have any room to discuss this issue about homosexuals not being able to adopt kids, because, as he said, a child needs a mother and a father. But what happens if one of the parents, died along the line? There is gonna be one parent who is taking care of this child anyway. So whether it's homoparental or heteroparental, I think that what a child would be, the child would be it. And I do not think it is an excuse for for anyone to say that homosexuals, cannot adopt kids or cannot raise kids, because in any way, if they can be parents, they can be parents.
On the France 24 Debate Facebook page, there was Fatma who wrote, "The problem with homosexual adoption for a girl is that she'll be misunderstood and not well supported during her teenage years." What do you say to people who say things like that?
That's just not true. What can I say? We all know children, people who were raised by a mother and a father who were badly raised, who were not supported at all when they were teenagers. What makes her think that as a gay man, I would be less supportive of her because she's a girl? I've met girls in my life. I have a mother, I have a sister, so I won't raise the child alone, and I'm not stupid. I know how girls work, so that's just untrue. And no, well,
for you, it makes no sense. Tony Kennebrew, already in France, civil unions are legal. So what does a gay marriage bill change?
Well, actually, this bill will only change one thing, just say that that same-sex can be married. As we heard earlier, in order to adopt in France, all you have to do is to be a married couple. This is what the French Civil Code says. Civil Code says that once you're married, if you're married and not separated, you can adopt a child. So this is great. The adoption laws, in fact, in France will not have to change. It's just changing the laws in the Civil Code. For example, the Civil Code says that the father of the child is the husband. So how will the French legislators change this definition of the father in the French Civil Code? So there are many things that will have to change, but it will not change the fundamental rights of the children. Children have the right to be brought up by both parents if both parents are alive, but both parents can also be same sex.
And just if I can, when you say, Mr. Duchesne, you say a child needs a father and a mother, but what for? In the end, what for? There's this congressman, Henri Guénaud, who says actually on TV, who said on TV many times that he was only raised by his mother and his grandmother, I think. Well, the man became the advisor of the president of the fifth nation, powerful nation on earth. So that's not so bad. He succeeded. He made it in life. So what for?
Well, I think that we ought to make a difference. There are a lot of special circumstantial situations. The problem is whether those exceptions, if I dare say, to the general reference or the general rule or the general norm, whether those exceptions ought to be legalized and whether a society can accept to be told that two different things are the same. That's all.
We're not saying two different things are the same. What do you mean by that?
Well, simply that a man and whether a marriage unites a man and a woman or two men or two women, it's the same thing. Right. The answer is that most people will understand that. Wait a minute, let me finish. Well, no, it's not the same thing.
It's the same
thing. It may be the same kind of relationship, but between different kinds of partners. It is very important that this should be fully realized, because otherwise what is at stake is clearly something very important. It is the ability, if we want to live together, let me finish. Go ahead. If we want to live together, we need words, we need to agree on what words mean. People have, most people, the overwhelming majority of people have a certain understanding of what marriage means. They all know also that there are a lot of exceptions to that rule. The problem is whether the exceptions, they can be acknowledged as such, but why should they be erased? We need to have the words we use between ourselves to have one meaning that we agree on, so that we can have a dialogue. Because otherwise, we fall into. Let me finish.
No, but hold up.
Otherwise, we fall into that terrible.
No, it's the same word. The word marriage is an excellent word for heterosexual couples or for homosexual couples. I think the problem that we've seen here
it was
is
created
often
for heterosexual couples.
Hold up.
If the word marriage,
you are mixing
in other
up,
words, we
you are
fall
mixing
exactly
up religion. This is a civil
in the
situation.
nightmarish world of Humpty Dumpty, who says the words mean
Right.
what I choose
But
them to mean.
this is a
we
civil
need
situation.
the words
Jean
to
Duchesne.
have to share the
This-
meaning
this-
of
this
words.
is a civil
if we want to
situation.
be
This
able
is-
to keep on
this is-
talking
this-
together
this-
and
Hold
not
on, Tony Kenneber,
interrupting the others.
please let him finish.
Okay, I'm
please.
sorry.
I've said what I mean. We need words to have one clear meaning that we all agree on, to have a clear content.
this-
Let me finish. A clear content, because this is absolutely necessary for us to understand each other in the same given society.
And this is why the legislators in France today are in the parliament. We have Madame Taubira, who is explaining to the French
Minister
public,
of Justice.
the French Minister of Justice, is explaining this new bill that was presented. And the definition will be the same. Marriage will be the same. It will be a marriage for everyone. And this is an excellent definition.
Now, the law may be blind, but as we all know, being raised by parents, no two sets of parents are the same. And for reporters, the France 24 investigative news magazine, Yves Irvine and Pauline Godard followed several homosexual couples with children. They followed a lesbian couple that went to Belgium for artificial insemination, a gay male couple that adopted, and two sets of couples that teamed up, as you'll see, in a creative manner.
This family has taken things a step further. Two homosexual couples have joined forces, and with the help of artificial insemination in Spain, 3 children were given 4 parents. Nathalie is the biological mother. Carole, her partner, is the social mother and so technically has no rights. As for the boys, Louis and Fleury have found a way that they can both be legally recognized.
Fleury is the legal father, and Luis is the biological father, so he's also the dad. Not that it changes anything. But if there's ever an issue with Fleury, all Luis has to do is take a paternity test.
Not only has this family 2 sets of parents, but it also has 2 homes. The kids alternate living 1 week with their mums and then 1 with their dads.
Right, so the week with the mummies is over. And we're on our way to Daddy's house, which is just a 5 minutes walk away. But because there are bags of clothes, toys and so on to hand over to the daddies, Natalie is taking the car and meeting us there.
On the way, they run into Daddy Louis. Benjamin is clearly happy to see. Every week when the children are dropped off to their second home, time is taken to pass on any new developments the kids have met in the past week and changes to their schedules.
Ben has swimming on Wednesday evenings now.
Running 2 households can mean complicated logistics, but for these parents, the main thing they see is added love for their kids.
What I like is that it opens up other roads, other ideas to parenthood. The idea that we can have kids and raise them with love, and at the same time that love can be shared. For me, when we raise kids, it's not an isolated act in a glass house.
What's more, since they became parents, these dads feel that not only has it changed their lives for the better, but that society also sees them in a more positive light.
When people see you with kids, the first thing they notice isn't whether you're homosexual or heterosexual. They see you first as a parent.
Now, everyone will agree that that is unorthodox. You don't usually see that kind of arrangement. Right. But at the heart of it, Jean Duchesne, and this is the question, is, again, the rights. And there's the rights of these people who are you can see that they've done this as a safeguard against a legal system that really doesn't protect the parents that are homosexuals.
Yes, but there is no question. These people have right. It is a fact, first of all, and there is no denying it. Then the question is what kind of legal recognition or what kind of social recognition, better than legal, is required in this case. Now, what I say, what I'm not the only one to say so, is that the same. It's not exactly the same thing as, I would say, what is the most common case, and that then special legal rules, special laws have to be designed, but it's not the same thing. The difference has to be acknowledged, which of course is by no means a lack of respect or charity or understanding.
Can I repeat that the French law will only be changing the aspects that says man and wife, man and woman. Otherwise, the French law will not need to be modified or amended, because marriage will be the same for everyone. So there's no need for a special word. What's very important here also that I saw in the film is the fact that this could be actually good for even fathers' rights. Often we tend to forget about the fathers' rights, and we see gay fathers wanting to practice their right as a father. So this could also have a positive implication on our society as far as recognizing fathers' rights, because fathers' rights have always been one of the rights that have been baffled here in France or in many countries, many Western countries. So I think
in case of divorce, you mean?
In cases of divorces, right. So this is great. This law will be a step toward real true democracy here in France. The French devise is égalité, fraternité, liberté, equality, fraternity, and liberty. And we are seeing liberty, we are seeing equality, and we are seeing also the third one.
Joseph Okoro, this issue of divorce is a thorny one, obviously, already. For homosexual couples, it's a big deal. And what will the law do? In your eyes, what do you think that will change? The fact that how will it change the way we look at divorce if same-sex marriage, the bill, gets passed?
Now, I think the issue of divorce, I mean, I'm not very conversant about the French law on divorce, but what I know really is that when divorce happens within, an heterosexual relationship, more rights is given to the woman, in terms of relations with the kids and so on, and the father has, less rights. But again, I think, these all debate of gay marriage and adoption will have an implication on divorce as well, because now we would not be looking at two male couples and be asking who is feminine and who is masculine, because again, that is like portraying patriarchy even within, homosexual relationship. And this is patriarchy that has been fought by many feminists around the world within an heterosexual relationship. I think what should be clear is that there should be equality, across board. There should be the liberty for both parties, regardless of what gender that they represent, in any relationship that suits them.
All right, and it's a point that we'll pick up on when we come back. You're watching the France 24 debate.